Good afternoon. Hello, hello. I think I have fixed my streaming problems. I am trying to make sure that it's all up to snuff. It's been very interesting. The last 3 days, the stream was interrupted and cut short, and I got a hold of my internet provider and had them check out my system. And as it turns out, my router needed a software update. I didn't know that routers got software updates. Evidently, they do. I needed one. I got it. So my connectivity problems should be solved. I believe they are. We'll find out. If I get kicked off, it's because I'm still having connectivity issues. That's why this is rehearsal week. But regardless, Ghost Mostly Media presents Afternoon Chat. This is a show I'm creating. I'm your host, Ghost Mostly. That name is left over from back in the day when I used to write song lyrics. I used to ghostwrite lyrics, and I've simply kept the same alias and just moved it forward into a media LLC. This week is rehearsal week. Same as last week was. I'm trying to get the kinks out. Thursday, Friday, and Monday, my stream was interrupted. I believe I've got it fixed. So we're going to press forward. I'm going to stay on rehearsal week because at the end of the stream, I'm going to look back at it and see what I need to change, what I need to adjust. It's important to me that I create an environment where the chat room will be allowed to flourish. The only rules I've set up is don't get me in trouble with YouTube. Follow their terms of service and their guidelines, and we'll be fine. Hopefully, during the course of the next 3 years, we'll build a following that wants to come in and chat every afternoon. Now, the hours I've started with are Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to try to make that as reliable as possible. I do have a memorial service I have to go to on the 19th of September. It's very important to me that I attend that memorial service. So we'll see what happens. I will try to go and attend the memorial service and get home in time to make the 3 p.m. start. But if not, we're in the early stages of setting this channel up, and we'll take it as it comes. I'm going to be very patient and understanding with the problems that come up. I'm going to stop trying to fix things that aren't broken and identify the things that are broken and the things that I can fix. I understand that it looks like it's almost black and white now. I will put some color in the background eventually. That's like the least of my worries right now. I'm worried more about the mechanical operation of the technology that's involved in doing this. I'm kind of feeling my way through it. I don't have a producer. I don't have a makeup artist. So If you're watching me in high definition, I apologize. This is about as good as I'm ever going to look. Sorry. It is what it is. This is my roadmap to the good time that was. Evidently, I've had a few issues, and I'm correcting them as I see them. The one that's got me right now that I can't get rid of is the reflection of my computer screen in my glasses. I'll work on it eventually, but if I tip my head down a little bit, you can see my eyes. I got to wear the glasses so that I can read the chat. It's right now it's damned if you do, damned if you don't type of thing. I don't know how long it's going to take for YouTube to figure out what I'm doing here and advertise me to the people that need to see me. But I'm going to leave it up to them. I'm not creating shorts or trying to advertise on my own. I figure YouTube's professional with the way they handle their streaming and their podcasts. And so I'm going to give them, at least the first month to figure out what they're doing. In the meantime, what we got here is a guy sitting on one end of his couch talking to his computer. It's my understanding that you can watch on your TV, but not chat on your TV unless you have like the latest model of smart TV and all the bells and whistles. I think that most people that are chatting are doing so either from a computer or a phone. I've been told some people like to watch on their TV and use another device, like maybe a laptop or something, to chat in order to interact. I used to chat back in the day when I was a young man, and I got busy with work and didn't have time to chat. Now I'm semi-retired. I come back and I'm looking for a place to chat, and there isn't one. I see like a sports program that allows chat or something like that. But I want a chat room that is based on the chat and what the people of the chat want. If we get this populated in here and the room decides they want me to operate different hours of the day, I'm open to change. If they want me on earlier, I could start earlier. If they want me on later, I could run later. I'm open to whatever ideas. I created Ghost Mostly Media, and my first idea was to do the chat. And I'm hoping that we can populate the chat, and the chat room itself will advise me on what to do with my media LLC. As far as myself, I just want chat rooms. I want people to be able to chat. YouTube gave me 2 channels, and my other channel, I have offered it to my pastor. I'm not sure whether he's going to take me up on the offer or not. I'm giving him a decent amount of time to think about it before I give it to someone else. He's already on Facebook, so, we'll see what he decides down the road. What I initially suggested to him was to come on and do like a Bible story for 15 minutes, and then to open up a chat discussion for the next 45 minutes about the Bible story that he just read or recited. But, all those options are up to him. You know, I'll let him do whatever the heck he wants and not charge him a dime for it. You know what I mean? Um, he's a nice guy, young man. I recently had dinner with his family and mine, and I thought if he wants the opportunity, I'll give it to him. As far as this channel goes, I don't care what we discuss as long as, we don't get into any trouble. I'm not trying to hustle you guys and sell you anything. I'm not, I don't have any sponsors. I'm not looking for sponsors. I did create a Patreon page in case you guys want to support the channel, but I set it at like $5 or something. You know what I mean? And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like I said, I'm not trying to hustle the chat. I'm not trying to get rich or anything like that. Basically, I worked most of my adult life in Las Vegas. I was in the table games of the casinos, and I got used to meeting about 100 people a week. And since I've retired, I kind of miss talking to new people and meeting new people. And I thought, well, the best way to alleviate that would be to meet new people and talk to new people. So I've created a chat room, and we'll see how it goes from there. I gave myself a commitment of 3 years that I would do this. If it doesn't take off within a 3-year period of time, I'll probably shut it down. If it does take off, well, then I'll have to make a decision as to, how long do I want to do this? But for right now, I'd just like to get a chat room going and allow people to discuss what they want to discuss without me putting a thumb on the scale and trying to tip the conversation one way or another. I've never been like an exclusive kind of guy. I've always been inclusive. I feel like the more we get in the room, the better off we are. The more opinions we have, the better off we are. I don't expect everybody to agree with my opinions, but there are some subjects out there I know nothing about, and I won't have any opinion at all. I'll be relying on the chat room to educate me so that I can form an opinion. I don't know what problems I'm going to have the rest of the week, but I know that I have not done a stream yet and then watched it and not found something that I needed to fix. My first issue is I'm not sure what category I should be putting this in. The YouTube category, I mean, I'm thinking, should it be under entertainment? I don't know. But for right now, I've got it listed under people and blogs. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. YouTube their algorithm will analyze what I'm doing and make a determination as to who to advertise this to. And I think eventually it'll get out to the people that need to see it. I'm not interested in doing any other platforms other than YouTube. When I look at the other platforms, I find flaws. Whether it's in censorship or the amount of viewers they actually have to make it worthwhile. It's just makes more sense for me to just do it on the one platform. I have thought about the possibility of allowing like a higher tier membership to have a 30-day license to clip or repost on other platforms or whatever. We'll see what the chat wants. We'll see what the membership wants when I get members. I don't know what all to offer them. I was thinking, I'll probably end up doing like a private stream, members only, or something. Like maybe once a month or once a week, whatever they want. I'm going to try to please as many people as possible. I don't want anyone to feel like I'm in their pocket. If you choose to watch and not chat, that's fine. If you choose to chat, that's fine. I don't care what you guys do. I just want it to be available. And after the live stream is ended, I would like it to be posted on YouTube so that people can go back and look through it. So I want the chat to remain in the film. We'll see what I got. I think I've got it everything that I need to do done. And that's what I'll tell you guys do as far as your liking and subscribing and all that. You guys, as the viewers, you do what you're supposed to do. And myself as the host, I'll do what I'm supposed to do. And hopefully it'll all work out in the end. I'm in Southwest Michigan. And I'm looking forward to this being a daily winter activity. Try to keep myself sharp. Hopefully, we'll get some people in here by the time snow flies, and we can have some good conversations. It's my understanding that this stream goes worldwide, so maybe we'll get some people from other countries other than the United States in here. That would be real interesting. When I was working in Vegas, I used to meet people from all over the globe, and I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. I met a lot of good people. It's my belief that there are more good guys than there are bad guys. And I don't mean that in a misogynistic way. There are more good people than there are bad people on this planet. I know you can't tell that by watching our news. Yeah, it's not Walter Cronkite or Dan Rather anymore. It's gotten what I call Pravda-esque. It's all propaganda. You can get on one channel and it's leaning right. You get on the next channel, it's leaning left. It's ridiculous, you ask me. I don't know why they just can't present us with the news in an unbiased fashion, but they all appear to be biased one way or another. And that includes the news that they're not reporting and they're not telling us about. They want to put crime and violence as the lead story 7 days a week, and I'm sick of it. It's ridiculous. There's not that much crime. It looks like it because we got video evidence of it, but there's not that much crime. Crime in America has never been higher than 7% of the population. that means 93% of us aren't committing any crimes. And out of that 7%, there's a couple of million people that are in jail or prison. With the 2 million people in jail or prison, it's my belief that the police outnumber the bad guys all by themselves. To me, it's like the old-fashioned publicity stunt. You remember the Hollywood actress that couldn't get any good scripts or any good roles, tried to get her name out in the news. So she'd go into some retail store and let herself get caught shoplifting or something just to get her name in the news. And that appears to be what we're doing nowadays for news. I don't think we're getting the whole story. I think that, you got to pick and choose what you believe nowadays. You got to be able to sort this stuff out because they're all biased. They're all in this to make money somehow. And I'm drinking a Gatorade. Doctor's orders. She said I need more electrolytes, so I'm drinking a Gatorade every day. Man, the older you get, the more you listen to your doctor because you'd like to hang around for a longer time, But, I don't listen to everything because a lot of what they're doing is practicing. And a lot of what they're doing is tests that are unnecessary and crap like that. That's my belief, my opinion. I'm not a medical expert. I'm not telling anybody to go to the doctor, and I'm not telling them not to go to the doctor. Do whatever you see fit. My personal opinion, I'm trying to be more responsible as I get older. But, it's like every day after the stream, after I get done, I go for a walk, get some exercise. Because I'm sitting here on the couch. Everybody's got their own perspective. Mine's at one end of my couch. As far as your perspective, what you guys do for a living, I'd like to know. What part of the world are you from? What are you interested in talking about? I don't mind. I'll talk to you about just about anything. As long as it doesn't get me in trouble with YouTube and get me banned or kicked off or something, That's why I say follow their terms of service and, in my opinion, it's like I feel like I'm inviting you guys into my living room, and I'd appreciate it if you'd act accordingly, be respectful of others, and not use profanity. I watched one of my first episodes that I was streaming, and I saw that I needed to clean up my language. It's been a few years since I've been in front of the public, so I'm making an honest attempt to do that. I'd like to have this show be like G-rated, but it's going to depend on what the chat wants. And if the chat ends up like an R-rated, so be it. I believe that the chat needs to have a certain amount of control to determine what direction the show goes in. I'm not trying to get famous. That's why I'm using an alias. I'm not trying to hustle you guys in any way, shape, or form. Hopefully you'll all understand and participate as you see fit. Weather's pretty nice out here right now. I think it's getting up to 80 today here in Michigan. But I was just watching a report on global warming yesterday, and summers are getting longer in the United States. I guess that means that winters are getting longer somewhere else. You know, these things all got to balance out some way, somehow. If the sun's shining more on my side of the planet than it is yours, my apologies. I think everybody needs sunlight in their life. Yeah, so hopefully I'm not seeing any strange messages go up. At some point during the stream, I dink around with some of the buttons, and I'm trying to figure out, what all I can do. I think I found out how to poll the live chat, but until I get people in here to chat, it's kind of hard to determine. But I'll feel my way through this, and eventually we'll build something that will be worthwhile, I think. Something entertaining and hopefully somewhat educational. The way our society's going, it's more into brainwashing people, it appears. I'm not trying to brainwash anybody. My opinions are I'm just a guy sitting on his couch. That's the only perspective I can give you. Now, I watch a few different shows that offer live chat, but they don't interact with the chat to the level that I think they should. My personal opinion. I was watching TMZ today, and I think they like respond to like one out of every 200 or 300 chats. That seems kind of weak to me. I understand they've got their own format and they're trying to film their TV show, but I think that the chat should have more of a say. Yeah, I started working on this on March the 10th, and then I started going live on August 25th. I started it on my birthday and started going live on my father's birthday. Those are the dates that pertain to me. My father's just turned 87, and I enjoy my time with him a lot. He was a factory worker all of his life. That's, part of being from Michigan is the factories are one of the largest employers in the state, or at least they used to be. I did the table games, blackjack, craps, roulette, all that good stuff. It was fun, but I'm looking forward to getting to talk to people without taking their money. When you're dealing a table game, you're taking money either from your boss from the casino and giving it to the players, or vice versa, taking it from the players and giving it to the boss. I'm looking forward to getting a chat with people and not have to take their money. Give them a break. There ain't much you got in this world that's free anymore. So, if somebody wants to support the channel, I'll probably get that whole Patreon page activated and whatnot at some point this week. I hope to have everything running nice and smooth by Friday. But, yesterday my live stream only lasted 24 minutes. So we've already beaten that. So there is some improvement there. I'm hoping we'll get the full 2 hours in today. Yeah, I never knew a router needed to be updated. And if they do need to be updated, why aren't they updated automatically? I don't get that, but I was on the phone with them for about, I don't know, half an hour. Really nice girl. Oh, if I was a younger man, I'd ask her out. She was a sweetie. Yeah. But she helped me and got it all fixed. And she said, try it for a week. And if you're having more problems, call back. But I don't see any problems. I'm looking around. Everything seems to be running good. Nothing seems to be buffering anymore or anything. And YouTube's not giving me a bunch of bizarro messages. So I think we got that part of it. I use Spectrum Internet. I don't know how it is in the rest of the country, but here they've like divvied up the town. And to each company, they've given them a certain territory. And if you live on the wrong side of the street, you only got one server, so it seems like they've created a bunch of mini monopolies. But, as long as they fix it when I call, I guess I can't complain too much. Oh, other than the cost. The cost of everything is going up. I punched up Instacart and I hit a button they got on there says buy it again to repeat my order from last month or something. And I looked at the price differences and the prices have changed. So they're going up. I don't know when Trump's talking, he says there is no inflation, but every time I go into the grocery store, it's costing me more. So I'm assuming it's the same way for you. It's another one of those things, like gas prices go up 50 cents a gallon all at once, but they come down a penny at a time. If they can go up 50 cents at a time, they need to come down 50 cents at a time. Yeah, it's me. But I believe that our whole power system, whether it be electrical, gas, or your oil company endeavors, I believe that they've got this all stacked up so that they maximize their profits and basically take us down a dark alley and financially beat the hell out of us regularly. That's the way it looks to me. My experiences in corporate America were nothing to brag about. I used to tell them the higher up I get, the closer to the door I get. Is they're doing some stuff that is it's poor business practices, if you ask me. I got into them with it in Vegas, a number of places. You rent a guy a room on the Las Vegas Strip on a Tuesday night for $6. New Year's Eve, you're asking $600 for the exact same room. Well, that's like raping your own customer base. They call it priced on availability. Well, in my opinion, you're taking advantage. And, if you got a good customer, why do you need to take advantage of them? Financially rape your customer over and over again. And eventually he's going to drop you like a hot rock. Personal opinion. I'm not an economics major. You know, it just seems to me that if you treat your customer base right, you'll have that customer for life. Instead, they like to have a turnover. I think, those players cards, the little slot clubs that they have or whatever at those casinos. Last I knew, the average was 7 years. If they signed you up, they could keep you for 7 years, but then they lost you. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. You have to keep on marketing new people. Then, you know, why not get it full and keep those customers? And eventually, you'll say, well, there's no point in marketing any further. We don't have any empty rooms. We don't have any empty machines. But I disagreed with the casinos on a lot of things. I watched corporate America up close, and most of their business practices, to me, are, well, they're shooting their own business in the foot. I believe in treating all people, with respect and kindness. You want to change your life? I'm telling you, the best way to change your life is to be nice to everybody all of the time. You'll like the end result. Personal opinion, once again. I'm divorced 3 times, and I plan on being single for the rest of my life. I don't see myself getting married ever again. Well, I don't want to give up half my shit ever again. That I don't think that's a good life plan. Uh, Personal opinion. If you only knew the number of women that held me in their arms and told me that they loved me and they'd love me forever. They're all gone. I'm not saying I was the perfect husband at all. I got at least my share of flaws, if not extra, you know. But yeah, well, like this one, I smoke cigarettes and pot. You know, I live in Michigan where pot's legal. I don't recommend anyone break the law ever anywhere. Okay. I am not pro crime. Yeah, I still smoke, but I'm not a drunk anymore. I put the bottle down. You know what I mean? Yeah, we've all got vices, one type or another, and you lick them when you can, and get past them when you can. And if you don't, some of them will take you down. My personal belief is everything's probably all right in moderation. Anything that you take in excess or do in excess is probably going to turn out to be detrimental. Once again, personal opinion, not trying to give advice, just trying to let you know where I'm coming from, the way I see it, my perspective, if you would. Now, I don't care what your perspective is. It's not going to be permanent. It's going to change. All things come to an end. All things make changes, or they die. You know, my lifestyle nowadays compared to my youth is totally different. When I was a young man in Las Vegas, it seemed like I could get 30 hours out of every day. I was constantly on the go. And nowadays in retirement, I got one speed. I call it if and when. If And when I get there, I'll be there, you know? I have two sons. They're opposites. The older is conservative, the younger is liberal. Yeah. Well, I consider them both to be well rounded men, and I'm proud of them. I have a granddaughter that's 17, and as far as I'm concerned, she's the prettiest and the smartest girl on the face of the earth, and I'll never believe anything different. Yeah, she's an angel. That's my opinion. Her father disagrees with me from time to time. I think it's funny. She's got all the latest technology. She last week I was doing one of these podcasts, and I learned that I need to shut my phone off while I'm doing this. Otherwise, people are calling me, and I'm answering the phone and saying, "Hi, you're on national television or worldwide television," you know. But yeah, so I shut the phone off now. But she called me, and I saw that I missed the call, and so I texted her, and she texted me back, said her watch had called my phone. I thought that was funny. Yeah. Technology, when your watch can call someone, she's got all the toys, you know. I don't have too many toys anymore. I was sitting here last winter, and I'm like, well, I've got a Chromebook, and I got YouTube, and I'm like, well, they're going together. Maybe I got everything I need to do a podcast. So I Googled it, and as it turned out, I do. So here we are. I tried playing video games last winter. I get too involved in them, and I play difficult games. I play one right now. It's called Stellaris, and it's pretty intense. I prefer to play it just against the computer because, it's like 60, 70 hours you got to put into it in order to win the game. Yeah. I play that one online with my youngest son once in a while, but for the most part, it's like solitaire, you know. I got a PS3 and a PS4, and I'm not buying a PS5. These other two work just fine. Yeah. Well, wintertime, I don't go out as much. It's nasty weather out there. I prefer summertime. You know, when I was young, I used to go out and do winter sports and you know ice fish and all that stuff. I don't do that so much anymore. I don't like being cold. You know, some people like it. I mean, here in Michigan, you can walk outside and see your neighbor cleaning off his car, cleaning off 4 inches of snow, and he's wearing shorts. I saw a guy just last winter, shorts and Crocs. He was out in the snow. Yeah, this is Michigan. Some people are used to the cold and it don't bother them as much. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with this Ghost Mostly Media. I'm not interested in editing films or any of that crap. That I see that as a whole rabbit hole that people are going down. The live stream interests me, and interacting with other people interests me, but not so much the video side of it. I don't even really, well, I watch some videos, but not that much. I watch, I watch movies, you know. I like to watch movies, but I got on HBO last month or something to watch a movie, and they had damn commercials in it. And I can't stand the commercials. That's why I'm not looking for any advertisers or sponsors or anything on this live stream. I can't stand commercials, so why would I share them with people that I like? You know, it seems like not the right way to go. And I'm one of the things I'm working on is my lighting in here. I've got really bright on one side of my face and darker on the other, but you can see my face, so I say it's probably close enough for government work. But yeah, I'll keep adjusting things as I learn how and figure out what the heck I'm doing. Some of it would be easier if people would jump in the chat and tell me what I'm doing wrong so I could fix it. But, I'll figure it out myself in the long run. And I learned how to stream on YouTube by watching YouTube videos. Go figure. You know, they've set it up so you can learn how to do just about anything. I think you can probably start pulling engines on cars without a certified mechanic. I think all you got to have is the right YouTube videos to show you how to do it. I hope nobody's doing brain surgery off of YouTube videos, but I would guess that it would be possible to train them with them. You know, I had a buddy out there in Vegas that had his own dealer school, and he used to do videos on how to deal the different table games. It's not all the teaching that he needed to do with his students, but I think it was a teaching aid for him. But I have yet to find anything that I can't find on YouTube, actually. They seem to have the largest library of videos that I've ever run across. But yeah, I don't want to do any of this editing. I don't want to put chyrons in. I don't want to do, any of that crap. Seems like a lot of hard work people are putting into this stuff. You know, myself, I think, I want everything to be easy, be simple, run smooth, no complexity, no compounding problems. You know, as the issues pop up this week, I'll make my corrections. Then we'll go another couple of weeks while I'm trying to build an audience, and YouTube will sort it all out, and eventually I think this thing will get going, and we're going to have a slug of people in here. And I found they got a little box I can check before the live stream where I can slow the chat down. I'm not slowing it down right now. There ain't no point. But eventually, if we get this full of people in here, I guess it could go so fast that I don't have time to read it. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it comes out. I'm, not pressuring myself. If we end up with a third week of rehearsal, so be it. We'll get there eventually. It's kind of weird to see yourself on TV, though, I gotta say. I never been one looking for the limelight or anything, but I think you need to have a host in the chat room to read some of the chats because how can you walk away? What if you're just listening to the podcast, or listening to the live stream? Nowadays, I think most people multitask. They're doing several things at the same time. So to me, that's why I figured it should be hosted. I'm not AI. I'm a real guy sitting on a real couch in a real city in a real state in America. But yeah, I would like to be able to do that uh, poll in the chat room. I think that would be interesting to find out how an audience is leaning one way or another on a particular topic or something. See what most people are thinking, you know, get a consensus opinion on some things. I don't care what the opinion is. I don't care which way the consensus goes or whether I'm on their side or against them. It doesn't matter to me. I believe that people are good, and I think the more people we get in the chat, the better off we are. It'll help with our critical thinking. It'll help with us to fine tune our minds and keep us sharp. Yeah, I thought about, I'm probably going to change my wardrobe too. I probably uh, should present myself a little bit better. I had a short night last night. I do a family breakfast on Tuesday mornings. We only had a half a dozen people this morning, but sometimes we get up 9, 10, sometimes even 12. It's nice to see family members and catch up what's going on with their kids, what's going on in their lives. And, you know, I like that shit. Warms my heart, you know. My own kids, they live out in Vegas, so they're busy. Biggest problem with talking to them is the 3 hour time difference. I'm on Eastern Standard, they're on Pacific. I apologize for the yawning. I guess that's what I'm going to have to correct today. So I'm going to have to make sure I get better sleep. It's my understanding that a yawn is caused by a lack of oxygen to the brain. The fact that I was smoking probably wouldn't have anything to do with that, would it? Yeah, maybe I'm smoking and depriving my brain of its needed oxygen. Well, if you want to talk to me about it, jump in the chat room and let's talk. I'm going to be here regardless. I made myself a 3-year commitment. That's what I'm going to try. I watched a guy that's online here on YouTube, Tom Grossi, and he's the reason I got into this. I still watch him on some of his football broadcasts, but I watch his Friday night Q&A. He does a Friday night Q&A that I like the way he interacts with the chat. I think he's very entertaining. The guy is hilarious. And he does stuff for charity, and I like that. I think he's got a good heart. Where I come from, if you find a person with a good heart, they're worth your time and trouble. Personal opinion, you know. Uh, no, he wouldn't know me from Adam. I don't chat when I get on and watch these guys. I don't. Well, there is one guy I do. His name's Mike Kimber. He does a Lions uh, daily chat video, and I'll interact with him, but I like know him really well from watching him on TV and stuff over the years, and he's a veteran. You know, we have some commonality. He's got kids. You know, and also lives here in southern Michigan. So, you know. But yeah, I'll chat on his channel, but he's pretty much the only one. Yeah, his he calls the Lions games, and he'll tell you up front that he's a Lions fan and he's biased, and that's probably why I identify with him so well. Is because I'm a huge Lions fan. I can't afford season tickets, and I don't live in Detroit, but yeah, I'm expecting the Lions to have the best season ever this year. I'm predicting, and I'm the only one predicting, but I'm predicting they go 17-0. I studied handicapping when a little bit when I was living out in Vegas, and uh, there's a theory in handicapping that you would bet your money on a team to keep doing what it's doing, right? It's like if you're betting craps and the number 6 keeps rolling, it might be to your advantage to put some money on the number 6. Bet what the dice are doing is the theory, right? So if they're repeating the same number over and over, bet on that number and collect some money when it hits. Well, since Dan Campbell came to the Lions as their head coach, their record has improved every year. Well, they went 15-2 last year. I'm figuring they're going to improve on their schedule or on their record again this year. Well, an improvement off over 15-2, you got two choices: 16-1 or 17. Well, I believe that glass is half full, so I'm going with the 17-0 until I see different. You know, they lose a game, I'll believe they could lose a game, but until they lose one, I don't believe it's going to happen. They've improved every year. And all these prognosticators, I see them, you know, they're all slamming them, saying, oh, they're offensive and defensive coordinators, half a dozen coaches left, you know. The core group of the team is the same. The head coach is the same, right? Dan Campbell's not going to hire an offensive coordinator that can't offensively coordinate a team. He's not going to hire a defensive coordinator that's not going to defensively coordinate his team. The man's not an idiot. And, well, my personal opinion, if I'm standing in my front yard and Dan Campbell walks by and says, come on, follow me, I'm going. I'm going to follow the man. All right. That's the way I see it. Their defense has improved to the point where I think they're a scoring threat every time they come on the field. And, you know, offensively, they were the cream of the crop last year. So, I see him improving, and I see him just moving on and moving up. I know it's hard to go 17-0. I've seen the math on that. I know it doesn't make any sense, but it's my belief that you bet the team that's been improving every year to continue to improve. They swept their division last season. That means they beat Green Bay, Chicago, and Minnesota, both games, home and away. Right? I believe they're going to do the same thing this year. They're going to sweep their division. I believe they got the number one seed last year. I believe they're going to get the number one seed in the NFC again this year. As far as this game on Green Bay, I just watched the line move when Green Bay got Micah Parsons. I think that's ridiculous. The line, the Vegas line on the game does not control who's going to win. It does not state who's going to win and who's going to lose. The line moves based on the amount of money that people bet. When Green Bay got Micah Parsons from Dallas, they moved the enough money was bet on Green Bay to beat the Lions that it moved the line, and now Green Bay is a 2.5-point favorite. I like the team that I think is going to go 17-0 to be getting points. I think that's a plus. So, I'm not betting on the game, and I'm not encouraging anyone else to bet on the game, but I'm going to watch it. Probably with Mike Kimber, but I might do half with Mike and half with Tom Grassi. Right? I like both guys. Right? If the Lions are winning big, like I think they're gonna put up like 50 points against their division opponents. If that's the case, I'll probably watch Mike Kimber for the first half and then Tom Grassi for the second half, because I like to watch Tom Grassi when Green Bay is losing. He takes it real hard. And if you don't watch the show, you don't know, but Tom Grassi's chair has been named by his audience. The chair's name is Jared Goff. And I think that's hilarious. And hopefully Detroit will spank him, and I'll get to watch the second half and watch Tom cry. And it's nothing personal. I'm not wishing bad on the guy. I just want to see his team lose. It's just a little competitive spirit. It's nothing negative. I'm not trying to chastise him. He's very entertaining. He used to be a history teacher, and then he started comedy, stand-up comedian and stuff. I've been watching him for a few years. Don't tell him now. He don't need to know. But yeah, I like the way he interacts with the chat, and he's decent at calling the game too. You know what's going on. You know what the score is, who's got the ball, who's driving, The play-by-play, I prefer his play-by-play over the TV announcers. These TV announcers, some of them are, let's call it inadequate, right? They'd rather do an interview than tell you, what formation the team is in, Now, I want to know what formation the team is in. I don't necessarily need to hear an interview with some guy that played 10 years ago, or, personal preference. It's all, it's all what I'm talking about is my opinion from my end of the couch, just one dumb guy. No, I'm not referring to myself as dumb. I'm referring to you referring to me as dumb. I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess that could go either way, realistically. Hopefully the Lions will go 17-0, and I'll have this video record of me telling the whole world that it was about to happen beforehand, because I'm the only one I see saying it. Ain't nobody else saying it. Because I watch them and I listen, and they're all saying, "Oh, Detroit's going to take a step back." They're saying Philly did when they lost their two coordinators. I don't believe it. I believe it when I see it. I'm not. I'm not chomping at the bit over football or anything. It's just that I'm chomping at the bit over football. I'm ready for the regular season to start. I don't watch the preseason unless there's like a rookie involved that I want to see. Like this year, I saw the preseason games because they had this kid, Isaac TeSlaa. And this kid's special. Yeah. Going to be an amazing athlete, I'm sure. As far as I'm concerned, Detroit's got three number one wide receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Isaac TeSlaa. I think they would all be number one receivers on any other team. And Detroit's putting them all on the field at the same time with, the same thing with their running backs, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Both of those are number one starting running backs. Both of them. They're that good. And what I like most about the Lions with Dan Campbell is these explosive plays. I love it when Jahmyr Gibbs takes off and runs for 70 yards and a score. That's just hilarious to me. Back in the old days when I was living in Vegas, I was doing the fantasy football and all that stuff. That would have been, in the late 80s. I don't do that stuff anymore. It's too mainstream now. It was only fun when not everybody was doing it. Now that everybody's doing it, it's boring. I know guys that got 6, 8 teams. They're in 6 or 8 different leagues. That's ridiculous, you ask me. But yeah, I was doing that in the late 80s and enjoying it a lot. I used to like answering my phone. Hi, I'm 10-0. I like that. It was fun. You don't have to do that with the phones anymore. The phones changed a lot. So did computers. I stay up with a little bit of the technology, but I'm not running out there and buying new crap every 18 months, I consider a phone a phone. I don't carry it around with me. It stays here in the apartment. You know what I mean? I tell people my phone's been grounded. It was being bad. So I punish it, make it stay at home alone. Oh, I don't need to have it with me. I'm not busy. You know what I mean? If I was a gig worker, you better believe I'd be lugging that phone around. But I'm not a gig worker. I don't need that stuff. So, you know, I like all this gig work that's coming on for people. I think that really helps the working man. I used to struggle trying to find a part-time job. You're trying to make extra money. I had one for a number of years there in Vegas. I'd go and work a convention center or something in November, you know, make some extra money. Vegas, the chips thin out in the month of December. It's just a slower time of the year. But I did that for a number of years. I had a number of side gigs that I did or was doing something to make extra money. The casinos, I don't know. I liked them better when they were owned by the mob. The corporations, I thought, ruined them. I was there 33 years. My opinion, you know, my opinion. Some of these casinos, they just don't know how to treat people. They think everybody outside of the upper echelon of management is replaceable. And I don't think that's the right way to look at your employees. I think that you need to value them and you need to treat them with respect. I think if your corporate profits go up 10% a year, why can't your employees' wages go up 2% a year? What's wrong with that? You know, but I disagreed with them on a number of things. I think that casinos can be fun, but they can also be a trap. A lot of people don't have the willpower to get up and walk out. And as with anything in life, if you do it in excess, it's gonna bite you in the butt. All things in moderation. That's my personal belief. I did just buy some dang lottery ticket today. I guess the drawing's tomorrow. Some $1 billion. I don't know. I didn't even look at it, to be honest. People at the breakfast table told me about it, so I went to the grocery store and I bought one. You know, well, you can't win if you don't buy the ticket, right? But $1 billion, if they want to give it to me, by gum, I'll take it. Uh, yeah, I got two chances of winning, Slim and none, and Slim already left town. Yeah, it's all right. It's entertainment value for your money. It's the same thing as if I went to a movie theater and I don't know whether the movie's going to be good. It's a gamble, right? You're paying 12, 13 bucks to get into see the movie. And if it's junk, it's junk, you know. Some days you come out thinking like, man, I stole that entertainment. I they could have charged me $20 to see that, you know. And other times you walk out and you're like, man, them suckers owe me. They stole my money. The best part of that movie was the previews, you know. I'm sure it's happened to you. It's just like if you go into a concert. I remember who was it? Oh, years ago, I went to a concert. It was Anita Baker. I was there 15 minutes and got up and walked out. And I loved Anita Baker. Very, very talented singer, very entertaining on stage, you know. a great performance, I'm sure. But my seat in the theater, my date's seat in the theater, right behind a big old pillar. Couldn't even see the stage without, having to look around this stupid pillar one way or another. I'm like, oh, sorry, I just pissed away that money. I'm going to go piss away some more because there's a show right across the street. You know what I mean? Went and saw something where I didn't have to look around the pillar. Made perfect sense to me at the time. Yeah, I like to pamper myself a little bit, and if things ain't just perfect and I ain't getting my way, I'll change things, do things different. Yeah, I'm not going to spend the entire evening sitting around behind some pillar. It was the Theater of the Performing Arts in Vegas on the Vegas Strip there. Um, the theater's still there, but the casino that owned it was torn down or rebuilt or something. I'm not sure who owns it now. I saw a number of great concerts there. I just happened to have bad seats, you know, so I got up and left. But this is what all gambling is. This is what, all entertainment is entertainment value for your money. I hear that there are people paying thousands of dollars to get in to see wrestling events or Super Bowls or what. I ain't doing that. No, not when the show's on TV and I can watch it on TV for free. Uh, I'm more inclined to go see a music venue than a sporting event. Live. I prefer this sporting event on TV. It's just it's nice to be able to hit the pause and the rewind and look at stuff in slow motion. You don't get that in real life. The nature show's never a rerun. There's no pause. There's no super slow mo. You know. But yeah, entertainment value for your money. It's the same thing as if you go buy a steak. You hope that the guy that cut the meat knew what he was doing. You don't want it to be tough. You don't want it to be stringy. You know. But if it is, it is. And I never let my life control my wallet, but I'm not going to let my wallet control my life either. Uh, some things I'm willing to pay for, some things I ain't. It's what do you value things at? What value do you put on going to a Tigers game, right? Well, I used to go to baseball games when they cost $6. You know, nowadays some of these games they're pricing themselves out of my market. I'm not willing to spend money on that. Same thing when you go look at a shirt in a store. You know, you're either willing to pay that money for that shirt or you're not. You know, I'm not willing to pay the price for it to have a little designer label on there or something. You know what I mean? That has no value to me. I don't value that. I prefer a shirt that is, comfortable and affordable. I've been doing this podcast now for an hour and 20 minutes. I don't see any buffering. I think my issues with Spectrum are completely repaired. I think it's all working right the way it's supposed to be. If it turns out that I got to get a faster internet speed or something, or something, or buy a new piece of equipment or whatever, I'll do what I got to do. I'll do what I have to do. You guys do what you got to do, and we'll get there in the end. We'll have us a good chat show. But yeah, I want the chat to be the star. I don't want to be the star. I want to be a ghost. I'm pretty much pretend I'm not even here. I don't need the accolades. You know, my self esteem is just fine. Right? Oh, I want the chat to control the chat room. That's how it used to work back in the day when I enjoyed being in a chat room. The chat room back in the day didn't have a person on it. We didn't have the same technologies we have today. With this technology readily available, I see no problem with going on here and giving you guys a little bit of eye candy. Well, I gotta set myself out from the masses, right? I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I want to be unique. I want to be an individual. This is one way to do it. Yeah, I know I smoke a lot. I get checked a lot too. I'm okay. My doctor and I got a deal. She don't talk to me about it no more. You know, a bunch of people at breakfast were razzing me. Not this Tuesday, but last Tuesday, they were razzing me, telling me, "Trim your beard, get a haircut. Put on a collared shirt, make yourself more presentable for TV." And I'm like, no, I think I look just fine. I got no, well, I don't know. I might need to dye the mustache a little bit. Kind of looks like I got boogers coming out, but I don't. It's just gray hair. Yeah. Well, I spent too many years wearing a suit and tie, too many years having to be shaven, too many years with uh, people tell me, "Oh, get a haircut." You know, no, I don't want to. You can't make me. Give up. You know, talk yourself blue in the face. If I go and get a haircut, guess what? A month later, I need a new one. That's creating another chore for me. Whereas I can just throw it in a ponytail on a windy day and not worry about it. You know, if I shave the beard off, then I got to shave my chin every day. I don't want to do that. I don't need another chore. You know, personal opinion. You guys groom yourselves the way you want to groom yourselves. I'll groom myself the way I want to groom myself. And we can both do it at the same time. Imagine that. Yeah. This is something that our society needs to straighten out. Is quit judging other people, quit trying to get them all to conform to what you think is normal. Yeah. I studied. I was writing a book last year, and I didn't finish it because it wasn't going the direction I wanted it to go in. I had a belief that if enough people are doing it, that's normal human behavior, and we should leave people alone for doing it. And so I was researching, what are people doing? What is normal, right? And that's when I found out the bad news. War is normal human behavior. Normal. And I'm like, well, I guess that destroys all my point of my book. I don't want to tell people that war is good, is normal. I don't want to have to explain that. But if you dig into it, war is not abnormal human behavior. It's normal human behavior, and it's disgusting. Yes, there are portions of war that can be abnormal, right? There are portions of everything that can be abnormal. But war appears to be normal human behavior just based on the number of people that continually do it. I mean, that's the way it appeared to me. So I took that whole book idea and threw it right in a crapper. You know, next. And I got an idea for a new book, but I'm deciding to do this right now, the podcast, and create the chat room instead of writing a book. But I have a book that is published that's out there selling. No, I'm not going to tell you about it. I told you I'm not selling you nothing. If you find it on your own, God bless you. If you don't, you don't. No, I don't advertise it either. I ain't hustling nothing. I could care less about your wallet. Okay, it's not my concern. But when you write a book, you have a chance to voice your opinion. Isn't that what a chat room is? Is you get a chance to voice your opinion? Don't you see me sitting here now voicing mine? End of story. This is the same as writing a book, only I don't have spell check turned on. Yeah. But yeah, I think everybody has a right to their opinion, and everybody has a right to voice their opinion in whatever way they see fit. Some people voice it by making music. Some people voice it by doing podcasts. Some people write books. Some people go out and make a protest sign and go stand on the corner. You know, um, my my thing right now that I'm going to do for the next couple of years, 3 years, is create this chat room. If people can get in here and start talking, the more the merrier. But I haven't advertised this. I haven't told friends and family, oh, get in my chat room. I don't want to skew the numbers, and I don't want to skew YouTube. I'll let YouTube do their thing. And then, 2 months from now, then I'll tell all my friends and family, oh, by the way, did you know I was on TV? Did you know I had a chat room 5 days a week, 2 hours a day? Yeah. Let them tune in then after YouTube is done their thing. You know what I mean? YouTube knows what they're doing. They're extremely successful as far as I'm concerned. They're putting cable TV right out of business. Which 10 years ago I would have thought would have been a hard thing to do. But yeah, well, it's cable's own fault. They priced themselves out of the market. Okay. Yeah, my father was just talking about it at breakfast. 6 months ago, he was paying the cable company $225, $250 a month. Okay. He had a baseball package, a sports package, yada, 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 yada. Yeah. He went so far, he went the other way. He went out and bought an antenna, put it up outside his house, plugged his TV in. And he's telling me this morning he's got 56 channels. He's got what he needs. Of course, he's still watching commercials, you know. He refuses the technology. He doesn't want to learn things. He thinks it's too hard. He's got a flip phone, okay, with big numbers. That's his thing. Oh, I got a smartphone, but I don't carry that sucker around. It stays on my dining room table most days. It'll be there when I want it. To me, it makes sense. To younger people now, they're like in total disbelief. But I remember before answering machines were invented. Okay. I remember party lines. Rotary dial phones. Yeah. I remember all that shit. Yeah, I remember we stepped it up and we got an answering machine that put us in the big time. Oh yeah. Nowadays, answering machines are probably antique. There's probably a few seniors that still got them, but I doubt the young people do. I go out to a restaurant, I look around, and I can generally see 75% of the people got their phones out and they're on them, scrolling. Even when they're sitting with other people. I would rather talk when I've got people, to talk to. I can scroll when I'm alone, right? But I prefer to talk to people, interact. Well, it's my belief that, the more inclusive your life is, the more people, the greater value of your life, right? I mean, that's the problem with getting old is everybody dies, right? Half my friends are dead. Literally half. You know, it sucks. But, that's why I say all things don't last forever. Nothing lasts forever. There's change a coming, right? Right now, the changes are controlled by the rich people, right? They want to have all this power and control, and they'll get tired of it eventually. No, they'll try to replace themselves with AI. You know, well, you can't get a rich guy to hold down a job. He's busy. He don't have 40 hours a week to apply to nothing. I seen these guys while I was in the casino industry. They were hilarious. Got to build a helipad so I can get to work on my helicopter. It's real important. Then the guy gets the helipad built. He flies in on his helicopter. He works a 2-hour shift and goes home. If you were only going to be there for 2 hours, why'd you have to have the helipad? Why'd you have to have the helicopter? I don't think that you needed to even be there for the 2 hours. It's a joke. So all these billionaires that are in Trump's cabinet and all this, after they're done stealing all the money they want and changing all the rules that they want, they're going to get bored. And then all their billionaire friends are going to say, oh, hey, we're all going to Aruba for lunch. Are you going to go to Aruba? Well, how's that guy going to hold down a job? He's not going to be secretary of anything. He's going to be absent without leave. He's going to be working part-time. Well, I'll come in on Monday and Tuesday, but then I'll start my weekend on Wednesday. I'll see you next Monday, you know. Now, they don't have the work ethic that people like you and I got, all right? They might have had it one day, but they ain't got it now. They're too rich. When you get rich, your lifestyle changes and you don't have time to go to that location and work that job for 8 hours a day, let alone overtime. You don't have the patience to be there. No, billionaires and millionaires are some lazy and busy people. They're going to go out and lead their life. They got to go fly to Dubai for the weekend. Okay, see you. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. All right. All these rich people can't do what you and I have done our whole lives. They just can't. It's not in them because they don't have to. We were dependent on a paycheck. If we didn't work, we didn't eat, or we didn't have a roof over our head. They don't have those issues. They don't have to do squat, right? They only do what they want to do. Right now, they're in Trump's cabinet because they want to steal our money, right? When they're done stealing, they'll find something else to do. They'll entertain themselves some other way. When they're done wielding the power and picking on people and doing all this hideous shit that they're doing, they'll find something else to do. They'll move on. They'll get bored. That's just human nature, But they're putting themselves in that position for a reason. Once that reason is accomplished, they'll move on. That's the way life works, right? I'll be here 2 hours a day, 5 days a week if you want to discuss it. You disagree with me and you think a billionaire is the guy with all the brains and all the work ethic, let's discuss it. I don't see it that way. I see these guys as basically having the attention span of a cat. Yeah, they'll play with that for a while, but eventually they're going to get up and walk away from it. Okay. And can you get a group of billionaires to all do the same thing all the time? No. It's like trying to herd cats. Good luck. You ain't going to get it done. They don't care about each other. Right? One billionaire does not respect another billionaire. He wants to know how he can make more billions off of that billionaire, maybe. He wants to use him, maybe. He wants to take from him, maybe. But he don't want to work with him. He don't want to, associate with him. Now, these millionaires and billionaires, as far as I'm concerned, they're in a little world of their own. They are not grounded in reality. Okay. If you're a billionaire, do you really have to look at the price when you're in a restaurant looking at the menu? Do you really need to? I don't think so. You might do it for show. You might do it cursory, but you don't care. If it says market price, you order it at that lobster anyways. You don't care, right? How do you get a billionaire to care? Take his billion. You take his money, he cares about that. He cares about his soft and cushy life. I guarantee you that, right? But as long as you can't take his money away from him, his attention span is 3 seconds long, and he'll be bored and ready to move on. Now, the only reason these guys are in those positions is they think they can accomplish something that they want. They don't need the job. They don't need the money. They're not like us. No, it's not a career for them. You know, a billionaire is not going to be a lifelong politician. Okay, they don't care about people. Right? They're there to accomplish a specific goal. Right? It's like, they're here to make the money. They're here to steal the money. They're here to get the money. Once they've got all they can get, they're going to boogie on. They're out of here. Guarantee you. How are you going to make Elon Musk come in and go to work? You ain't. I'm sorry. And I'm not trying to knock Elon Musk or any other specific billionaire. I'm just saying you can't control them. They live in their own little world. They're going to come and go as they see fit. The only opinions they respect are their own. Now, if they hire somebody and pay him to give them an opinion, they might respect it. Then again, they might not. They probably ain't gonna. They're probably gonna do like Trump. Oh, I know better than you. How do I know better than you? Because I'm a billionaire. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I bought the lottery ticket, and hopefully one of us will get rich. When they first said they were telling me that the prize was up over $1 billion, I'm like, oh, that's nice. I was oblivious to it. I don't follow that crap. I saw in Vegas, I saw so many people lose so much money. Uh, I guess I lost respect for the money. I tried to preserve the people in my mind, anyways, but I lost respect for the money. I could care less. If some guy tells me he's homeless and another guy tells me he's a millionaire, I'm going to treat them the same. I don't care what you got. If I'm going for pancakes and you're going for pancakes, let's go for pancakes together. I've always been an inclusive person. I've never belonged to an exclusive club, and I have no desire to be in one. I think that when you collaborate with more people, when you're being inclusive, I think that success becomes, at some point, it becomes a given. You can't help but succeed if you got enough people involved in your project, whatever your project is. If you don't get any people involved, it's real easy to fail. All you got to do is take a wrong turn or stumble, like this podcast, right? All last week it failed. Every show it failed. Why? Well, because I didn't hire a producer. Plain and simple. If I'd have hired a producer, he'd have had all that shit fixed before I ever got online, right? He would have said, open your laptop, hit this with your mouse, and you're in business. I left that up to me to stumble my way through, but that's because I got videos that I can look up and watch, if I have an issue. Yesterday, I got a message across my computer said I had connectivity issues and that my connection was unstable. All right. So I closed the computer. I went for a walk in the park and decided, well, it's time for me to call Spectrum and have them check their equipment and make sure it's all right. Because I believe my laptop's all right. My cord's okay, you know. So that's what I did. And evidently, one problem was solved. So I'm trying to come out with some type of way that I want to close each show. And I want to just encourage people to be nice to one another. Eliminate the hate from your life. If you're spending your time hating people, hating things, hate is simple dislike plus fear. You got to be afraid of something in order to hate it. If not a person's actions or policies or beliefs or whatever. Good old fashioned dislike is okay. Disagreements are okay. Differences are okay. But hate is a waste of time. It's a waste of energy, and it's not controlling your fears. If you want to eliminate your hate, control your fears. When you have your fears under control, your life is better. Plain and simple. When your fears are out of control, I think your life can be torture. All these people that are hanging on to their prejudices because of fear are cheating themselves out of life. Fear is an obstacle. Some fear is good when it's controlled, right? The fear that tells you not to run out into traffic, that's a good fear, right? But if you got to get across the street, how are you going to do that? Well, you walk to the corner, you use the signal. A smart man controls that fear, uses the tools that are available to accomplish what he must, right? That's my belief. It may not be yours, but it is mine. So there's no room in my life for hate. Hate's one of those things that it's a negative influence on my life. I make a list. On one side, I list all the positive influences on my life. On the other side, I list all the negative influences on my life. And then I consciously find more time for the positive columns. And I consciously find less time for the negative columns. Right? And eventually, that negative column disappears. There's no negatives in my life right now. I have zero stress other than, how do I get this podcast up and running? You know what I mean? But I mean, that's not really that stressful. I'm feeling my way through it, taking my time, moving at my pace. I don't feel stress. I don't feel pressure, right? And that's what I would tell other people, is if you're nice to everybody, everybody's going to be nice to you. The people that aren't nice to you, find less time for them in your life. The people that are nice to you, find more time for them in your life. And then your life becomes better. It improves. right? A lot of people are living off the hate. They're living off to the hate, and they're lashing out at others. There's no future in that, right? You lash out at others, and they're going to feel free to lash back. Well, why not? You just trained them, right? So if you're going to walk around your life uh, throwing out negative vibes, you're going to get negative vibes coming back at you. Be the positive. See that glass is half full, right? And be nice to everybody. You'll like the end result. That's my opinion. I know, disclaimers, right? You know, I don't think that there's any future in being mad or being angry or being hateful. The future I see is that's worth building is camaraderie, friendship. This has an intrinsic value. Then, when you need help, you pick up the phone or you call help and somebody shows up. If all you've ever done is hate people and mistreat people, who's going to show up to help you? Why would they? Right? Um, it's like a story I told on here the other day. There was a corner a few blocks from me where a homeless man was run down and killed. It was very tragic, right? The homeless guy, this is 3, 4 months later, there's still a shrine on that corner to him. There's flowers, there's candles, there's written messages. It's a full on display. Okay. He was homeless, didn't have any friends that I know of personally. I mean, I didn't know the guy, but it's still there. And you think that one of these mean people that's always lashing out at others is going to have any kind of a shrine built for him if he has a tragic accident? I don't think so. You know, that's kind of sad. That'd be a sad way to end your existence on this planet, right? Yeah, yeah. Being good to others will help others be good to you, right? So that I'll call that my closing message. I'll thank you guys for your time and for your views and your likes, and encourage you to just eliminate the stress from your life, because stress is killing people all over the planet. It's not a necessity. Okay. It's something that has to be dealt with, but it's not a necessity. You need air, food, rest. These are necessities, right? All right. With that said, I'm going to close the stream today. Thank goodness I didn't get kicked offline. I didn't have connectivity issues. I would call this a successful day thus far. Hopefully, when I look this over, it will have been a good show. In the meantime, be patient with one another, be helpful with one another, and take care. Ghost Mostly signing off for the day. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.